Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Media Files. Today, we got ourselves a big buttload of stuff to go through today. Um, so, kind of decided to go out and whatnot, and I'm like, well, you know, family members want to go to this store. I want to go to that store. So I figured, drop them off. I'd go to Disc Replay. Let's see if there's some goodies there. Now, mind you, this Disc Replay is one that I don't normally visit because it's roughly about an hour out of my way, and don't really feel like driving an hour to go to another Disc Replay when I've got one literally right down the road from my house. Although I've kind of hit that one a bunch, and I've kind of seen a lot of the same stuff over and over again. So I'm like, well, let's hit a different one this time and see what we got. So I walked out of there with some goodies, as well as some stuff that I went to a local thrift little flea market, and also a bookstore that I went to too, which is kind of cool. Okay, so first up, let's get all the Disc Replay stuff out of the way. As you probably saw, went saw Alien at the theater. Awesome experience. So I picked up, it's a reacquisition, but I never bought it with the slipcover when it originally came out, and I still have the sticker on it for now. But so here we have the widescreen edition of Alien vs. Predator. Now what's kind of cool about this is that here it is, you got the Predator there on the slipcover, and then you have the Alien there on the actual case artwork. So that's kind of cool there. Even though the movie's alright, I mean, it's decent enough for what it is, but still, that's not bad. So, let's see, where to put you right there. Alrighty, so, up next, got ourselves a whole bunch of cool random stuff. Got a couple Blu-rays in here, mostly DVDs. Let's see here. We'll just take everything out one at a time. Alright, so first up, I have never even heard of this, and lo and behold, it's kind of a documentary, which I'm like, cool. I like documentaries. Trying to get the Sting sticker off. Yeah, second. There we go. Okay, so with this, it's some sort of documentary, which has loads of great interviews with like different filmmakers, behind the scenes producers, whole bunch of cool stuff. And like I said, never heard of it before. But here we have a documentary entitled The Sci-Fi Boys. Yeah, which of course features some of the the industry's best working people in the industry. Well, we got Peter Jackson, of course, Ray Harryhausen, Ray Bradbury, Forrest J. Ackerman, Roger Corman, John Landis, Leonard Moulton, Rick Baker, list goes on and on and on. And also even Bob Burns. So I'm like, that's cool. I've never actually really heard of this, so I had to pick this up. I'm like, cool. Let's see here. Then up next, movie I've been trying to hunt down for a while. Now, I used to have the single disc edition way back when this movie came out, because the collector's edition was very hard to find. And, well, I found the collector's edition, so I'll definitely be selling my single disc version of this movie. Now, I've seen it, I think, maybe a couple of times. I don't think I've seen it all the way through, or if I have, it's been a while. A very underrated war film. Very underrated, especially when it's more about the Great War, aka World War I, rather than World War II. As far as I know, I think the guy who directed this, I think this is his only film credit that I know of, but it's a really good movie. So here we have Flyboys, the collector's edition, which has a buttload of extras on disc 2. And of course, it's also produced by Dean Devlin, and like, that's kind of cool because you don't really see very many World War I movies, hardly at all. And the flying scenes are awesome in this movie, by the way. So up next, got a new movie to add to my Kino Lorber collection. Movie directed by Dennis Hopper. No, it's not Easy Rider. But it stars Don Johnson from Miami Vice. We have The Hot Spot. I've never seen it. And I'm like, never heard of this movie. And, I'm good for anything Dennis Hopper, directing. Because I only really seen Easy Rider. That's the only movie that I've seen that he has directed. So up next, movie that I've never got to see or never even really heard of. Just kind of came across it by accident. And stars Johnny Rico, Casper Van Dien. We have him portraying. We have James Dean, Live Fast, Die Young. Like, sounds interesting because I really love, I love all three of James Dean's movies, especially, Rebel Without a Cause. So up next, we got movie, of course, I think I only need one more movie, right? Actually, I think this is the only one out of his that I don't actually have. Of course, talking about, the late, great, Brandon Lee. Here we have Rapid Fire. So that would be interesting. Because I've never actually seen this one. Now, I have seen Showdown in Little Tokyo. That one's awesome. Of course, everybody's seen The Crow. So, but yeah. So then up next, we got some, definitely got a movie that I've been wanting to see, because I know, obviously, this movie was a huge influence for Jackie Brown. I'm, of course, talking about Foxy Brown. Yeah, starring Pam Grier. I've never seen this movie, so it'll be interesting to see what this movie is, and I think the only movie that I need to see out of hers is Coffee, which I think I may have. I don't really know. I'd have to search through my app and see if I have it. So up next, we have ourselves a courtroom drama. Yeah, which I've only heard about, but never seen before. Starring, of course, Al Pacino. We have And Justice for All. So there we go. All right, so now let's see what else we got in here. So, alrighty, so up next we have another documentary that I found, and because like I said, I'm a sucker for a good documentary, especially anything sci-fi related or anything like that, especially if something I've never seen before, because I'll never, if I don't pick it up, I probably will never find it or remember it ever again. But this one definitely goes along with all of the entire Trek collection. We've got Mind Meld, Secrets Behind the Voyage of a Lifetime, starring, of course, William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy. And, be interesting to watch to see that. Then up next, we have, definitely a movie that I've only heard about, but it sounds pretty cool. And, the only reason why I kind of know of this character is because, the character comes from what I remember, is, of course, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. No, it's not that movie, but the character, of course, played by Richard Chamberlain, who actually was, the lead in the original Shogun series, and actually was the first ever Jason Bourne. We have Alan Quartermain in this Lost City of Gold. This looks like a lot of fun, and I'm like, I'll have to check that out. Also co-starring Sharon Stone before she went into Basic Instinct. Alrighty, so up next we have a movie to be added to the Midnight Madness series, and I've heard this movie, but I've never found it until literally today. Definitely one of those bizarre movies, but what can we say? It's a Vincent Price movie. From what I hear, it's classic. But here we have The Abominable Dr. Phoebes. And that's pretty cool that they have, that actually I found this. I mean, it's got the trailer in it, and of course it's got, the fun facts there, which is pretty cool. Alrighty, so up next, let's see here. We have a trilogy of movies. Yeah, now I remember renting these a lot when I was a kid. Because I remember trying to find them. I know that there was a trilogy set of them, but I really hated the fact that it was on two discs, and one film was on one side, the other one was on the other side. I wanted them all individually. They actually had all three of them. Definitely one of the best, martial art trilogies out there. At the time, it was a trilogy. There's actually a total of 6 movies, or no, yeah, 5 or 6 movies total in the actual series. Of course, this really put Jet Li on the map. So here we have Once Upon a Time in China. This is one of his best movies ever. And let's see here, what else? That's not it. Where is it? I could have sworn it was here somewhere. Yes, here it is. Okay. All right. And also, we also happen to have... Should have taken these stickers off earlier. Would have been so much easier. Oh well. And they also had Once Upon a Time in China 2. Yeah. Of course, all these are in widescreen, and which is kind of cool that it's featured both in Mandarin and also English dubbed. I mean, the English dub isn't that great, but at least it comes with artwork, which is pretty cool. Hang on, I'll show you the artwork of the first one here. So, yeah, that's actually pretty cool that it actually comes with artwork on that. And, like I said, there were 3 of them. For some reason, I thought that the second one was the best way back in the day when I first actually heard of these movies. But it's been so long since I've seen these. But they also did have Once Upon a Time in China 3. So, there we go. That's pretty cool. And we actually have, well... looks like eyeballs or something in there. Jed's eyeballs. There we go. Yep. So, that's actually pretty cool. The entire trilogy. Now, there is the 5-disc set available from the Criterion Collection, which features, of course, the 4th film, and I think the 5th film is entitled Once Upon a Time in China and America, I believe. Oh no, I think there's a 6th one out there somewhere. But anyways, well, speaking of martial art movies, actually I really want to get these on Blu-ray, like the newer Blu-ray set editions that are out, because they have behind the scenes featurettes and stuff. But I'm like, I'll take what I can. It's an 80s classic. It's, it was made during the awesome, martial art phase that happened in the early 80s. I'm, of course, talking about American Ninja. Yeah. Starring, of course, Michael Dudikoff. God, I really wish he was in one of those Expendable movies. That would have been awesome. Then let's see here. What else? So let's break away from martial arts for a brief minute, and let's go back to a little bit of old school sci-fi. Yeah. I think this might have a different release somewhere, but I'm like, Like I said, I'll just take what I can get, because I know sometimes these movies are a little difficult to find. But here we have definitely one from the 50s. Definitely. So here we have This Island Earth. Yeah. Get a load of that. That's awesome. Yeah, good old classic. So, let's see, what else we got in here? Got some more goodies in here. Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff in here. Okay, so up next we have a multi-pack set. Now this one sounded pretty cool because it's got a ton of films which I've never actually seen, and several that I have been wanting to see for quite a while. And I'm sure it's probably like 2 or 3 discs, or movies are probably on the same disc, but we'll see. But so here we have this really cool Western collection. We have Shootouts and Showdowns, 10-movie Western collection, which features Hell or High Water, 310 to Yuma, which is the remake, Young Guns, The Kid, Hell on the Border, Hostiles, The Duel, Gone Are the Days, Lawless, and The Homesman. Yeah, loads of great movies on here. Yep, that's exactly what I thought. It's several of those multi movies on multi discs, and I'm sure the quality is probably utter garbage, but we'll see. I mean, because I've actually never seen. I think I've only seen maybe one or two of those. Now, Hell or High Water, from what I have seen out of that, it's actually a modern western, and that's actually kind of cool. Alrighty, so up next we have, well, I was ecstatic. I was like, dude, are you serious? I can't believe I actually found these. And, well, little sad story. Out of the 3 seasons that I found, I was only able to get 2. I'll explain why in a minute. So, first off, we have, this must be a re-release, but we have Season 2 of Dragon Ball. Yeah, the original Dragon Ball. As you know, I got the all of Dragon Ball Z, and the original Dragon Ball is very hard to find, and so thank God I went in there. And they also had in there, I'm surprised these were as cheap as they were, hardly next to nothing, still in good shape. I also got Season 3 of Dragon Ball. Now, I also did pick up Season 4, but when they were looking at the discs, one of the discs, unfortunately, thankfully it's not on this set, but we'll just use this as the back, for example. So, one of the discs, like right here where the insert is, was cracked from the insert all the way up into the disc, which really sucked. I mean, they also had Season 5, but for some reason, they always like to, whenever it's like the last season, they always like to jack that one up for some reason. I don't know why that is. But at least I got some of Dragon Ball, so all I need now is Seasons 1, 4, and 5, and I'll have the entire original set. Alrighty, and let's get through, let's see here. Yeah, let's get through this. You know what, we'll leave that one for last. Excuse me, woo. Wasn't expecting to sneeze there. Let's get through the Blu-rays, shall we? Yeah, this movie I've never seen before. Matter of fact, I've not really seen any Troma movies. But I'm like, well, might as well grab this because I never seen this anywhere. So here we have, from Lloyd Kaufman, we've got Return to Nukem High Volume 1 on Blu-ray. So I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, looks awesome and nasty and grotesque, but, what else are you going to do? Alrighty, now this one, the funny thing is they had 2 copies of it, and I decided, hey, you know what? I'll just grab the copy that actually has the cheaper price on it. This one, I've been trying to hunt this one down for a while, and I don't know why, this one is always hard to find where I'm at. But yeah, finally added this into my DC animation series collection. We've got Superman, Shazam, The Return of Black Adam. Yeah, finally I have this in my collection. That one's hard to find. Alrighty, and finally, for the Blu-ray, we have one from Shout Factory. Once again, Shout Factory, where I'm at, is pretty much, can't really find any of this stuff over there. I'm like, well, I'll just take it and, just go ahead and take it home. Yeah, so it looks pretty cool. I've never actually seen it, never heard of it, but I'm like, it looks awesome. So here we have Exterminator 2. Yeah. Like I said, never heard of it, and I know these things can be pricey. So there we go. Alrighty, and finally, now this one, I have the movie. I've had it left and right, but for some reason, I've always missed out on this particular collector's set, and all I've really had is just the movie. Now I finally have this thing in my collection, and which is kind of crazy because, this is one of the absolute best monster movies ever made, ever produced. It's in such great condition. We have finally in my collection the 1933 King Kong in this really awesome collector's tin. That is cool. It's all embossed and everything. Of course, there's the back. How awesome is that? That is so cool. There's a look at the spine. So, when I saw this, I'm like, dude, that so has to come home with me because, I can't believe that they have this thing marked at, what they have it marked at? They had it marked at like $333, like dirt cheap. I'm like, dude, I gotta take this home. I mean, that's cheap. A little bit of dust on there. But we're nowhere near done, folks. Oh no, because we gotta go through what else I found at the thrift store. Yeah, so first up, now this one I don't know if it's actually Blu-ray or DVD. I'm gonna say probably DVD, but it's actually in a limited edition. I want to say a digibook, and I've seen this on YouTube, but I love the fact that it's actually embossed and whatnot. And I'll show you here in a minute. One of my favorite documentaries that I love. So here we have from James Cameron. We've got Deep Sea Challenge. Yeah, now this is still the plastic wrap, so don't worry, this thing isn't damaged or anything. But I guess this was a limited edition, and so I'm like, cool. I kind of found this, and it was like $1. I'm like, awesome. That's gonna come home with me. Let's see here. Up next, well, I forgot to mention that we have only one video game in here. If I can get the dang sticker off. Yeah. Let's see. Let's take this off real quick, shall we? If it wants to come off. I hate it when people do this. That really irritates the piss out of me. Let's see here. There we go. That's much better. All right. Let's get this thing off. So, alrighty. So, as some of you may have known, I had gotten one of the Diablo games on my PS3 many months ago, and someone had suggested to me that I get the Ultimate Evil Edition because it has the Reaper of Souls expansion. Well, I found it. Yep, for $3. I'm like, sweet, I gotta take this home. That's awesome. So yeah, that's the only game that I picked up today. So, alrighty. Then up next we have a movie from one of my favorite directors. I mean, every movie he's done is a little bit quirky, it's a little bit out there, but then again, he knows how to direct a movie. I mean, and mind you, this is actually one that I've not actually seen. I've not seen his debut film. So here we have from director Darren Aronofsky, we have Pi, which is his motion picture debut. And it sounds pretty cool. So I'm like, why not give it a shot and see? All right. Then up next, we got... this one was packaged and put in a little Ziploc baggie. Yeah, but the funny thing is it's got a Hollywood Video sticker on it. Let me see if I can get this thing out of the bag here. Yeah, I don't know why you would put it inside a really long Ziploc to begin with, but, what can I say? So, this was like a couple bucks. I'm like, that ain't too shabby. So let's take this sticker crap off there. I'm definitely gonna leave the Hollywood Video sticker on there because I don't ever see that. But so now I've never seen this particular version of the character, but of course, I absolutely love the story by Mary Shelley. Yeah, that pretty much should tell you what it is. But here we have Frankenstein. Now this one stars Luke Goss and Donald Sutherland and William Hurt. I've not actually seen this particular version of the monster, so we'll see how good this version is. And I think it might be like a mini series because it's almost 4 hours. Yeah. Yeah, it's like over 200 minutes, so probably more about 3.5. But yeah, because it's a Hallmark movie. Yeah, right. So we'll see. Alrighty, let's see here. So up next, we got a bunch of stuff here. Okay, so let's just get that extra stuff out of the way. There we go. The rest of that I don't care about because that's not mine. Alrighty, so up next, got a film here which I heard great things about. Newer film. Um, I think this was before she ever did Barbie. At least I think that's the same director. Um, but I've heard great things about this, and it looks awesome. And yeah, so here we have Lady Bird. Yeah, it looks good. So I'm like, well, why not give it a shot? It was only 99 cents, so I'm not really going to complain that much. Also, so was this movie for 99 cents. Came with the really cool, I think this is like a Walmart thing that they had on the front cover or whatever. But here we have, let's see here, which version is this? This is the original version from 1972, which I don't have. So here we have Wes Craven's original film, Last House on the Left. Now, like I said, this is not the original artwork. It's one of those covered, like, Walmart things that could, easily be taken off. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off there. And we'll get that sticky junk crap off there. And we'll just shove this on the inside. That way it stays nice and kind of there. But that's the original case artwork right there. So let's go ahead and shove this thing back in here. Hopefully it fits. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's going to fit. Maybe. Let's see here. Will we close all the way? Just barely. So there we go. Yeah. There we go. Awesome. Okay, then up next, now, I've been wanting to see this movie for a while, and I don't know why. I think I may have seen part of it, but this was only like 50 cents. I'm like, sweet. Definitely a movie from the Blumhouse series. So here we have The Gallows. I remember seeing trailers for this. It looks pretty awesome. And I know they did a sequel, but for some reason, I cannot find it anywhere. I don't know if they had just like a limited release that they did for it or what, but hopefully I can track down. I think this is also on Blu-ray. From what I've seen, I think the Blu-ray, there's actually a whole other edition version of the movie, like more like a rougher edit of it. And then I know that the sequel, of course, is on Blu-ray. So finally, let's get these last couple of movies out of the way. So we're going to go back to when movies first started. Yeah. Definitely some old school gangster movies. I love me an old school gangster picture. But I'd say with these, you really can't beat it because a lot of these are very hard to find. So let's start off with one of the movies that was somewhat of an inspiration for that little tiny sequence in Home Alone, which everybody likes to repeat over and over again. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. We're not talking about angels with, let's see, what's it called? Angels with filthy souls? Nope. We have Angels with Dirty Faces, starring James Cagney and Pat O'Brien. This movie here was one of the inspirations, of course, for the movie within the movie for Home Alone. And what can we say? Only $1. Yeah, that's just writing. That's not that little stuff right there. That's not actually part of the actual artwork. So I can wipe that off. And also starring very early on in his career, Humphrey Bogart. So speaking of Humphrey Bogart, he also starred in a couple of other movies, along with Cagney. We have this one here where he's kind of the villain, which is kind of interesting. So here we have The Petrified Forest. Yeah, and I love these things. I mean, these things are awesome because they have like these Night at the Movie things on all of them. And they show like some old school cartoons and trailers, and then it leads right into the movie, which is kind of cool because it takes you back to a time how movies used to be. Well, I mean, they're kind of somewhat like that now, but nowadays they have about 50 minutes of trailers. But Then they also did another film together, which I know this one I can't. I never find this anywhere I go. It's very hard to find unless you have that box set. I think that actually all four of these films I think were in that box set originally. So here we have the Roaring Twenties. Yeah, of course, starring James Cagney and of course Humphrey Bogart right there. And finally, now this one does not star Humphrey Bogart, but it does star Edward G. Robinson, who of course is well known in the old school Depression era of films. And what can we say? I mean, this movie's awesome. I mean, now I've seen I know I've seen Angels with Dirty Faces, but I've never seen The Petrified Forest or The Roaring Twenties. This one I've seen bits and pieces of, and gotta love old school gangster movies, right? So here we have Little Caesar. Yeah, so I gotta love those old school pre-coded movies. Let's see, when did this come out? So 1930. So this would have been let's see, 1930. Let's see here, what else? 1939. Let's see here. Forest 36. And let's see here, Angels, Dirty Faces. 1938. Okay, so basically these three films right here, basically were made after the original Scarface. This one was made beforehand. So if that tells you anything, kind of where they were kind of going through with Hollywood and whatnot. So there you go. Alrighty, and finally, let's get through the books, shall we? So this is this local bookstore, which I've never been to before, and some of their prices were a little bit, weird. Like, for example, they had like a sci-fi book there. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a Star Wars book or something. And they wanted to sell it for almost $11. I'm like, oh, okay. So I look at it, and I tell you what, the upper left corner of it looked like it had been chewed on by the dog. And I'm like, you're not going to sell that for $10. But anyways, so yeah, so they had a sale going on. It was buy three, get two free. I'm like, sweet. So here we have a novel from a BBC famous series. We have The Avengers, Too Many Targets, starring, of course, John Peel and Dave Rogers. Of course, you have Emma Peel's, type of thing. But yeah, I've never actually watched any of the original Avengers, but that's awesome. You can't find that anywhere. That's hard to find. All right, so up next we have a movie base book, and sure, the spine's a little bit messed up. I'm like, I'll take what I can get because I've never actually read the original novel. But what can we say? It's actually the first out of 4 books. So here we have the novelization of Firefox by Craig Thomas. Now, of course, Clint Eastwood obviously made the awesome movie. And then we also have, let's see, here it is. We got the second book in the series. Yeah. So let me take the sticker off here real quick. Come on. There we go. Alrighty. So we actually have the second book in the series. We have Firefox Down. Yeah, so there's actually 2 more books that I need to get out of these, and I'll have all 4 novels in the entire series for this. Let's see. Then up next, got a book from from one of the best suspense, heist, spy thriller writers of all time, Robert Ludlum. We have The Ryman Exchange. Yeah, so that's actually pretty cool. Finding it in the older looking, cover there. Then up next we have one of the James Bond books written by Raymond Benson, which is one I don't have. So here we have Never Dream of Dying. And, I'm like, that's not too shabby, because, that was the only one that I could find, because that's all that they had. But I think there's, 1 or 2 more that I need to get. And then last 2 here, these are really hard to find, especially this one that I'm about to show you. I could have sworn I used to have this way back in the day, but I can't remember if I still had it or not. But I'm not going to complain. I mean, this thing was only a couple bucks. But here we have book 1 in the Terminator 2, the new John Connor Chronicles, titled Dark Futures, written by Russell Blackford. Now, there is 2 more books in the series, and I cannot remember what the other 2 book names are, but yeah, I need to hunt those other 2 down because those are very hard to find. And finally, this one I had to grab because I have the first one, and there's actually another book that is, I think it's actually like one more. Technically, it's actually a trilogy after, of course, of the famous movie. But from K.W. Jeter, we have Blade Runner 2: The Edge of Human. I know there's one more book, I think, after this, and I know I've got the first one, which I think the first one is, what is the name of it? I think it's, can I remember what the name of it is? Let's see if it mentions it. Which it does not. Or hang on a second, let me see here. Let's see here. Replicant Knight is the other one that I have. There's, I think there's like one more that's after this, I think. But yeah. So technically there actually was a Blade Runner trilogy after the movie. So that would be awesome if those actually became canon. But yeah, I'm definitely going to put those 2 books in my little safe area. That way they don't get destroyed. Alrighty. Well, this went on for way too long. Yeah. So with that, you guys, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. I'll try to leave as many links down below as I can, as much as YouTube will allow me. Now, keep in mind, hunt your local bookstores for this stuff because, you never know what you're gonna find. So, all right, with that, you guys, once again, like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and with that, I'll see you next time.